There are fears the killing of Mexico's most wanted drug kingpin could trigger more waves of violence. In a news conference this morning, President Claudia Sheinbaum said peace and security are being maintained. The defense secretary revealed the government learned the location of Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes by tracking one of his romantic partners. Chicagoans in Mexico wait for the all clear.
Started seeing smoke below us. We thought it was one of the apartments. We had no idea what was going on.
West Ridge resident Elena Overa and her wife Mona Corey are still in disbelief about their situation. They last visited Puerto Vallarta 20 years ago.
Here we are, 20 years later, and we get this is.
Well, if anyone hasn't been paying attention to the news or is under, has been under a rock, there was a killing of one of the Jalisco cartels, the Jalisco New Generation cartels leaders, and it definitely set off a lot of violence in Mexico. And of course, they're telling Americans to either shelter in place or not even think about going to Mexico, which is great advice. Because cartels, of course, they're definitely well equipped and have the numbers to inflict a lot of damage and carry out a lot of violence and stuff like that. And it was definitely said that the United States had, they was, helped the Mexican military with intelligence. And as you just heard from the reporter, they, were tracking one of his romance interests, and that's how they were able to find him. It's it's a play out of an old playbook, really. If you follow the woman, you more than likely gonna lead you to the person that you're looking for. So, this right here, of course, man, it's all over the news. A lot of content creators are talking about it right now, and just wanted to show you some of the destruction that happened in this aftermath of everything. And this is in Guadalajara. Crazy, man. You've seen people running at the airport, flights being canceled. This is a car that was set on fire, and it ran into a store. Cars being burned. I seen houses. I mean, not houses, but buses being burned. So, when something like this happens, and this type of thing typically happens where, the cartel is going to respond and, a way to let you know, okay, we seen what you did, but we're going to make sure it's going to be a lot of unrest here, as a result of, your actions. You see bullet holes in cars. And I'm saying many people lost their lives too in the whole thing. You gotta expect that the cartel isn't gonna take this
towards us.
His husband and some friends found his cars and buses and then using the burning vehicles to block roads. Lakeview resident Yanni Pizer, his husband, and some friends found themselves in the middle of the chaos while on their way to go whale watching.
Suddenly there was a young man running towards us with a gun in his hand. And he ran up to me. I was driving the car, pointed the gun through the window and yelled in Spanish, "Get out of the car."
Mexico's defense secretary says 8 other cartel members were killed during the military operation. 25 members of the country's National Guard were killed in clashes across Jalisco.
You hear that? Even on the Mexican military side, they lost people. Said 25 people. Then it said like 8 other cartel members were also killed. So this was a gunfight. This was like a real battle going down, and that's what you can expect because the cartels are going to take it laying down, and they're going to try to go lick for lick with this type of thing.
Has visited Puerto Vallarta every February for decades.
I mean, we're still up in our room today. Haven't had any more information. And it's hard to know what to trust.
Jennifer Keltner says it has been a quiet morning
across Mexico following the killing of the country's most wanted drug leader known as El Mencho in a military operation that happened on Sunday. Michaela Hightower's in the newsroom with these developments.
And Eric, officials say suspected members of organized crime groups unleashed the wave of violence after his death. And new at noon, we've learned 25 Mexican National Guard troops have been killed in Jalisco in the aftermath. Tourists are also stranded. Families aren't able to communicate with each other. And Mexicans and U.S. citizens are being asked to shelter in place for what is becoming a very scary situation. A wave of bloodshed hitting Mexico. Parts of the country thrust into violence after cartel kingpin El Mencho was killed during a Mexican military operation aided by U.S. intelligence support. El Mencho, or Nemesio Ceguera Cervantes, head of the Jalisco New Generation cartel, is Mexico's most wanted drug leader. He was killed Sunday in the Mexican state of Jalisco. The response to his killing has been nothing short of violent. Airlines have canceled flights, leaving tourists stranded. Plumes of smoke could be seen billowing over Mexico's popular resort city, Puerto Vallarta.
It really did look and feel like a war zone. And I think that feeling of anxiety, that feeling of what does happen next or what could happen next is driving what a lot of people are feeling right now.
But
Hey, stay out of Mexico. It's pretty much all I can say. Allow things to play out how they're going to play out, but trying to go and take vacation over in Mexico at this current moment would definitely be a dumb decision, and I don't think that the violence is over. I think it's at a point right now to where they're more than likely trying to figure out who's going to be the next leader. It could be a power struggle within the organization to find out, to figure out who's going to be the next leader. But of course, a leader will emerge within that whole thing, and once they either, a lot of things can happen in this whole situation. Either certain fractions can break off, and then they become opposing, cartels of each other, or they're going to unanimously decide on the next leadership, and they're going to plan out certain things that may happen, and kind of seen this before, and they're basically showing like you do this to us, we're going to do this to you guys as well, and we're going to create a fear, and we're going to really stop the economy, because this type of violence and stuff that's going on in that area, or these type of demonstrations, is definitely going to stop a lot of American tourists from coming over there and spending their money there, and anyone who's already there, as they were saying, they don't really know what's going on, they don't know what they can trust or believe. Stay out of Mexico. This type of stuff is going to play out how it's going to play out. I'm going to go ahead and close out this video. Let me know what you guys think about everything that's going on over in Mexico, in certain parts of Mexico, and just let me know your thoughts on it. Make sure that you hit a like on the video, get it into the algorithm, and make sure that you subscribe to my channel. This is Justin Paul. Peace.